We're doing Parshas Ki Savo, and it's really a hemshech of Parshas Ki Tzeitzei. We spoke a lot about last week, the connection between Ki Tzeitzei and Ki Savo, last week's Parsha and this week's Parsha, that the Rebbe points out that it looks like on the surface that they're completely opposite ideas. When you go out to war, and that's implying one way, and then when you come into the land and settle and inherit it, that's a different attitude. It's a different vibe. So how can, and we read on Shabbos in the morning we read Ki Tzeitzei, and in the afternoon we read Ki Savo. In the morning we read about going out to war and this, and in the afternoon we read about coming into the land and inheriting. Like these are opposite ideas. How can we shtup them into a kind of one? How can they kind of like follow one the other like this? And so basically he says that really they're not opposed. They're not opposed. They're actually Ki Savo, coming into the land and inheriting it, and this idea of settledness and yeshiva das and serenity, that this is telling you, it's explaining Ki Tzeitzei. The way to do Ki Tzeitzei is in a Ki Savo way, in a coming in and settled and in a settling serenity kind of way. Because what is Ki Tzeitzei? Ki Tzeitzei is, and he continues on with this idea in Bikurim, in this week's Parsha, Bikurim, the bringing of the first fruits. So he says Ki Tzeitzei is when the soul going out of its supernal realm. The soul going out of its supernal realm where it was unified with Hashem, and now comes into the body. So it's going into the body, and this is the milchama of Gullus here, where there's darkness and it looks like there's no unity. And we have the body and we have the animal soul, that the holy soul that was once unified with Hashem now has to purify and clarify and work out the animal soul and the body. And that is the war. But and that war is accomplished through serenity and Ki Savo coming in. We're going to explain this more. But the Ki Tzeitzei L'Milchama is the soul coming out not just from Olam HaAtzilus, where I guess our souls, after the creation of the world, they come from. But it says that before Hashem created the world, before there was any Seder Hishtalshalos, before there were any worlds, before there was any Tzimtzum or any creation whatsoever, Hashem said, well, I wonder, should I create the world? And he went and he took counsel with the Neshamas Shel Tzadikim. Neshamas Shel Tzadikim are there. Meaning Klal Yisrael and Hashem are really one. We're one. There is a existential, essential unity between the Jewish people and God's essence. From even before the world was created, God's essence. We're talking about God without any creating. There's also Bnei Yisrael. There's also Bnei Yisrael. There's also Am Yisrael.
Which tzaddikim are we talking about?
Am Yisrael. Yisrael. Bnei Yisrael. Jews. Okay. Kulam amech tzaddikim. Right. Amech kulam tzaddikim. Your people are all tzaddikim. So.
Where are you quoting?
Well, this is the Rebbe who says this all. I'm just reviewing. I'm reviewing.
Yeah. And he actually says that we're all tzaddikim.
Well, he doesn't. I mean, I just use that to answer your question. But
I'm okay with it. I just didn't know where you got it. That's all.
The Amech Kulam Tzadikim, Kulam Amech Tzadikim, whatever it is. Yeah. So no, he says. He just brings it that Nishmosim Shed Tzadikim.
We're all holy, or that kind of a thing. But tzaddikim seem like a stretch. That's
well, we are all. First of all, it says Kol Yisrael Yesh Lam Chelik L'Olam Haba. Right. It's the last. I think it's the last chapter in Sanhedrin. Right. Kol Yisrael Yesh Lam Chelik, Parshas Chelik, Parak Chelik. All Jews have a place in the world to come. But meaning this is the point, really, that really Jews. This that we have a neshama elokis, this that we have a godly neshama, a godly soul, means that we are actually completely unified with Hashem's essence. We are completely unified with Hashem's essence. Okay? Like, we're not necessarily in touch with it. That's the problem. That's why Kitete la milchama, the soul, which is really one with Hashem and Hashem's essence, chelik elokami mal mamish, right? And Hashem says, chelik amoy, right? I don't understand how people can't like believe in like Kabbalah or Panemius Torah when it says in the pasuk in the Torah, Hashem says, my people are my part, chelik. Something like that. Chelek ami, chelkai ami. Like a piece of me is my people. What do you mean a piece of God is my people? What does that even mean? How do you even understand that? So that we really are the Jewish people. Really are like that's our essence. Our essence is one with the Eibishter, one with the essence of godliness. That is who the Jewish people are, and we're in this world to bring a new level of consciousness of that unity through the physical world, so that Hashem can have a dira betachtonim, that He is going to have a dwelling place in this lower world. How is He going to have a dwelling place in this lower world? Through us. We are gods. We're the God having a dwelling place in the lower world. This is what I said yesterday. My thinking about why Hasidus was so controversial.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, but it's controversial. Why it was so controversial? Even though Hasidus didn't invent this idea, but it brought this idea to the surface.
Look, I mean, Robert had said, I forgot your name. Olay. A lot of the guys that come here, as you well know, are hearing this for the first time in their lives, and they're all, grown-ups.
Yeah, well, better late than never. But yeah, this is the Rebbe is going very, very stark on this in Ki Savo, very, very stark on this. And I actually just saw a little clip from the Rebbe this morning on somebody's status, that the Rebbe was saying, and I heard a piece of this before, but that the Rebbe was kind of he was talking to the rabbis and saying, you're giving musar, like in Elul, like this is when you're giving musar to your congregants. This is like the time, everyone's giving fire and brimstone musar to the congregants, and the Rebbe was furious about it. Give yourself musar. This is the Jewish people. We are the apple of Hashem's eye. We are totally His essence. And you're telling Jews they gotta shape up and they gotta this and they. Who do you think you are? You're talking about Hashem, basically. You're talking about Hashem's essence. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, and the way. So he's basically saying the way that we do this war, the way that we work our neshama, we have our neshama, this piece of Hashem that's in us, that's coming to clarify our body and our animal soul, so that God can have a dwelling in this world. How's He going to have a dwelling in this world? By converting our animal soul and our body. That's how God has a dwelling place in this world. By converting our animal soul and our body. Okay? Our animal soul and our body need conversion. And when they're converted by the godly soul, that is a dwelling place of God in this world. What's difficult for Hashem's comfortability in this world, dwelling in this world? Our ego, our body. It wants what it wants. It wants the animal. It wants survival. It wants stuff. It wants olam hazeh. It wants its own individuality, its own independence, its own agenda. And so Hashem is like, that's not comfortable. You can't feel comfortable there if you're in a place when somebody else is challenging your agenda. If they got their own agenda, it's difficult to be in the same room with them. You can't be fully expressed. You can't be fully expressed. You can't be fully expressed because it's like wearing a garment. It's like wearing a garment that doesn't fit. You can't feel. You can't relax. You can't move because the outfit has its own size that's not yours. It's fit to something else, and so you feel a little. You don't feel comfortable in it. So that's our body and our animal soul. They're this garment that is ill-fitting. It's ill-fitting. It's because it's got its own ideas and its own agenda and its own, things it wants to do. So Hashem, aka our holy soul, Hashem can't be comfortable in us, expressed through us, because the animal soul and the body are constricting. They're constricting. Why are they constricting? Because they want stuff. They want their name in the big lights on the big sign. They want the martini and the pina colada on the beach. That's what they want. So Hashem can't be fully expressed through the body and the animal soul. He's being constricted. He's being limited. So the way that Hashem can be fully expressed in the world is by converting our body. I'm talking about every single Jew. Converting our body and our animal soul, and therefore can be, by purifying it, by clarifying it, therefore then God Himself, His essence, can be fully expressed through it. That's how He wants to be fully expressed, through the body and the animal soul. That's how He wants to be fully expressed. So we have an animal soul and a body. Mine is called Yerachmiel, yours is Ronnie and Robert and Lev and remind me your name again. Leib. And so Hashem, that's the crazy thing about it, that Hashem wants to be fully expressed through Leib and Ronnie and Robert and Lev and Yerachmiel. But only when
You changed your name again?
Label Yoel Mishka.
So
He changes his name every week.
it's part of tshuva. It's saying tshuva. As you change your name, you change your name. So that's how Hashem is going to be expressed to the world. So it's not just like. So we are, when it says Hashem wants a dir b'tachtona, that means when I convert my animal soul and my body, then I am godliness expressed in the world. God can be fully, comfortably expressed through me in this world. And that's Geula. And that's what he says is we can do that right now. And that's how we do, so by connecting to this truth, this is essential. To connect to this reality, to connect to this truth. And this is Ki Savo also. Ki Savo is the parsha that kind of stops with all the mitzvahs. It's Bikurim, and then for the rest of Dvarim, it's a lot of, the bris and the covenant and just chizuk to do the mitzvahs and to keep the Torah, and all of this stuff. And so Bikurim is kind of like the last mitzvah that's discussed. I hope I'm getting this right. That's what I understood from saying I didn't go reread all the parshas and everything, or even this week's parsha. I didn't read yet, but it's that's the Bikurim has something to do with because right after Bikurim it's just like the bris, and because you kept the bris and you're going to keep the the covenant and do the mitzvahs, and it's kind of after Bikurim, after the first fruits, it's all about just Torah in general and being and serving Hashem and keeping the covenant with Hashem in general, to the end of the Chumash. So what is it about Bikurim that has this kind of element that just kind of sends off to our ultimate just connection with Hashem and our covenant and our connection with Torah and mitzvahs? And why in this Parshas Ki Savo, when you come into the land, that's just like a preparation. Then you have to do, kibush and yishuv, and then you do bikurim. It's only like a preparation. So he asks these questions. Why is this called Ki Savo? Which the whole parsha is under the rubric of Ki Savo. When you come in, which sounds just like a preparation, a preparatory step, and not the actual arrival, even though it says when you come into the land, but it's in preparation to then do bikurim and all of that. Okay. So basically, Ki Savo.
You know, we just got the mitzvah for Shemitah a week before. 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's about the clock begins when we're in the land, when we're taking care of the land.
I think it's after Kibush and Chiluk. Kibush and Chiluk. First you have to do
Divide it
Kibush
up.
and Chiluk.
Okay.
That's 14 years. That took 14 years to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's when the Shemitah clock starts, but that's when the clock starts for other things. So he says, okay, what is so special about Bikurim? So Bikurim, like we know, we thank Hashem, right? We thank Hashem, we have Birkas Hamazon, we thank Hashem, that's from the Torah. We wake up and say Moda'ani, right? Yehudi, right? Yeah, Hodeh, we're Modeh, we thank. So what is special about Bikurim? Because Bikurim takes it to the degree of Lamaisa. It's a Maisa of thanks. Not only is it a Maisa of thanks, but it takes the best of your crop, right? You bring the best, your first fruits, and you bring it to the Beis HaMikdash, and you put it before Hashem. You put it before Hashem, and it becomes Hashem's. This is expressing Hakara Hamaleh Shel Hashem Haaretz that Hashem runs the whole world. He owns everything. Everything is His, and everything is belonging to Hashem.
Look at the Kohen.
Yes, but it becomes Hashem's. The Kohen eats it, but it becomes Hashem's. The Kohen is the.
Hektish? Is it hektish? Is that what you call it?
Could be. It becomes hektish. I'm not sure. That's a halachic term, but like that would mean like how usher it would be for somebody else to eat it, or what level of tahara or something like that. So I'm not sure about that, but it definitely belongs to Hashem. So that even though we get to take part, it still remains in the property of and the domain of Hashem. And this that we're bringing it before Hashem, lifnei Hashem lokecha, that it's here, it's still yours. It's still yours, Hashem. Choderes ba'emek yeser ba'adam amevi abikurim shi'akir od yoser yafnim ad sheyargish shekulo v'chol anim sebrushuso shayach l'neshem. That this, what should bikurim bring in the person and integrate and develop and internalize in the person? That everything that the person has is really before Hashem. Is really his whole life is lifnei Hashem lokecha. Is before Hashem. I'm taking the first and the best and saying this is before Hashem, but what I'm really meaning to say is that my entire essence, my entire life, everything is before you, is still yours, is all yours. I'm not a free radical. I'm not an independent, free radical. I am still yours before you, completely yours. That all of his existence, all of his garments, and his actions and his deeds, that even more than just his speech, is before Hashem. And what is this? Because we are Bikurim. Let's see, hang on one second. I mean, this is a continuation of what he talked about in the Ki Tzeitzei. That we, the Jewish people, we have a neshama in us, a godly neshama. That is God. That is God's essence in us, and that is what's to be expressed. That is what needs to be expressed in the world. A Jew is completely unified with Hashem. He's not a means to an end. That every single matter, specific matter of his life, and any specific thing that a Jew does, kol machshava dibur ma'aseh shelo ubechol rega ubizman ubenakuda b'mkom shebo hu nimsa, wherever he is, whatever he's doing, even if one little thing. It's part of his Bikurim. It's part of the Bikurim. It's part of the reason why Hashem created the world. He created the world, right? Bereshis, right? Why did he create the world? Biglal Torah, b'shvil Torah, b'shvil Yisrael. That everything that he's doing is part of Bikurim, and it is Lifnei Hashem Elokecha. It's in the Beis HaMikdash. Even in this moment, in this time, he has a chiyuv to say, Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. Kol Echad Ve'echad has to say, every Yid, from the biggest to the smallest to the righteous to the has to say, for me, the world was created. For me, alone, the whole world was created. That means I don't have to. Hold on one second. Let's just keep going on this. To flesh this point out until we. What is? How do we connect to this? An idea maybe. This is how we were able to. We have this ability. The world was created for us. We have an amazing agency in the world. We can mekadesh the chodesh. We can affect time and things like that. Ha'inyan ha'panimi b'bikurim, the inner idea of the first fruits, the mitzvah of bikurim, shemegalan eicha metzias hamitis de bnei Yisrael hi davar echad im HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the true reality, the true existence of bnei Yisrael is that it is completely unified with Hashem. V'lechein, and therefore every single matter in their life is before Hashem Elokecha, is expressed through doing mitzvahs bikurim. Right? Because he's saying, how does that happen? It's not just saying thank you. I say thank you, thanks for the thanks. So I've me, you're you, thank you. No, it's not that when you thank somebody, I me, you're you, thank you. Thank you. You stay you, I stay me, and I appreciate what you did for me. What you over there did it for me over here. Thank you. And we just remain two separate things that one helped the other, and one is grateful to the other. No. Al yedei kiyum mitzvahs bikurim migalim lamata b'olam hazeh tachton. It reveals down here in this world, eich shebnei Yisrael, even though they're souls and bodies, heim bikurim. We are first fruits. We are rachis to kol olam. We are the first fruits of the world. We are the reason Hashem created the world. We are Hashem in the world. We are Hashem in the world. Before us, the whole world was created. Hashem wants a dir b'tachtonim. What does he want a dir b'tachtonim? So he can take a piece of him, so to speak, and find a comfortable space in the most low world. How did he do that? He took a piece of him, put it in the Jewish body, and said, okay, now what's going to be? The Jewish body, this soul, this godliness, has to convert the body and the animal soul.
Well, that's a little tricky.
What's
I
tricky?
never heard it put that way. I mean, and I'm over 40 by now, so I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I'm just saying this idea of converting the animal soul.
That's what the Tanya is all about.
Okay. I mean, it
To
just
convert or to integrate, to ishtalef.
Well, there's two. There's the iskafia and there's this hafchia.
It's
There's iskafia and there's this hafchia. There are two modes of avodo. There's one of subduing and there's one of transforming. Okay? And so we have always been doing the subduing. Subduing. This is not what he talks about right now, but we can just talk about it. The ultimate avoda, which is, I think, what we're being called to now, is chafia, is the transformation. We must convert. This we talked about this already in other terms. And it was when we talked about the shore, we talked about the animal, that we have to harness the animal. We have to put the ol on the animal and we tell the animal where to go. So that is what I'm talking about, converting. Converting so much that ultimately you don't have to even have the ol on. Right? That's what converting means. Converting means so much so I don't even have to have the ol on. But the first step is putting the ol on it. You put the ol on the animal, you put the yoke on the animal, and the animal is directed only to where you want to go, and da-da-da-da-da. The animal doesn't have any other agenda. It's going where you're going. And ultimately what's going to happen is that you can take off the ol, and the animal itself will become transformed. And it will become transformed. And the expression of Hashem will be totally will be totally transparent and without conflict. But the first step is to put the yoke, on the animal. But our first step is we don't even realize we're our animal. We don't realize our entire identity is actually our animal. You know, I mentioned last week the lyric, you know, the greatest job the devil did was convince the world he doesn't exist.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
You know that lyric?
I don't.
What is it? You don't know that? The greatest
I like
The
it,
greatest
but
trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world he doesn't exist. We all are walking around thinking, "Oh, I'm trying my best," but really we're completely the animal soul. Completely the animal soul. How do we know? How do I know we're completely the animal soul? Okay, how do I know? Even though we're doing mitzvahs and we're Torah, and it's very nice, and it's still mitzvahs and all very
What
nice.
song was it?
What?
Which song?
I don't know.
Okay.
Say in the comments if you know what song. Put it.
No.
What were we saying?
Saying that
A person does things because of his ego.
Right. Listen. This is there's several litmus tests. Okay. One litmus test is: are you doing things?
Sick of Hashem or for my
No. Oh, that's sublime. Whatever. That's maybe a little. Am I doing this for a result? Like when I say Psukkah de Zimra, am I doing Psukkah de Zimra because I'm getting to Kriya Shema? I need to get to Baruch one time? Or am I saying Psukkah de Zimra because I'm saying Psukkah de Zimra? Am I putting on tefillin for a reason? Like, am I doing it for some result? Right? Like I go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom for a result. I want the result. I'm not just liking to sit in the toilet. I'm going to the bathroom for a particular result.
Rabbi
I'm eating.
What Rabbi Manis would say, who's got to be one of your boys, and he would say that we're putting on tefillin for the result. Yeah, because he likes it.
No, that's not a result. That's not a result. That's not a result.
Oh.
No, that's not a result. I'm not doing something for a medium to achieve a different goal. That is the other way. That's
Quid
the
pro quo. I mean,
not just quid pro quo, but just or quid pro quo. Like I'm doing this to get schar, so I'm doing this as a medium to achieve another goal. Like it's not. The goal is not putting on tefillin. The goal is to get something, is to achieve something else. That I'm going to achieve it through doing Torah and mitzvahs. If that is our mindset, we're totally in the animal soul. I think I'm right about this. Because our animal soul is all about doing things for another reason. Doing things for a result. Our godly soul is it. It's arrived.
It's the lishma.
It's not just lishma, because lishma, it's the lishma, but yeah, it's obviously connected. But it's another way to say it that people hear the word lishma and that's it. They're gone. So it's like if you look at another, the neshama. This is what I'm saying. God created the world. That's it. He created the world for you. That's it. There's no other goals. That's what he says. Bikurim, this whole thing is to live in this moment. Every single moment of our lives is the purpose of the world. Every single moment is the purpose of the world. So if I'm doing anything for another moment, I'm disconnected. I'm disconnected. And that, our animal soul is very difficult to tolerate. Our animal soul is always looking, what is this going to get me? I'm trying to promote myself. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to get myself ahead. So, Torah and mitzvahs, good. Be a good person, good. But I'm doing that in order to get something, rather than This is my existence. This is my reality. This is my...
Well, but that's not exclusively Jewish. Far from it, actually. It's not exclusively Jewish.
But the reason
To
that
be
you're
here- to
able...
be here now,
the reason
you know,
to
you
be
were in
here
the air-
now...
You were in the airport in 1970, right? You walk through the airport, you see some goon in there with a hat, and he's got a purple book in his hand, and it says "Be here now." I mean, we all bought it. We all bought it.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about Eastern religion.
Oh,
Bhagavad
he was-
Gita?
No, he's Jewish.
Uh-oh.
The Baba Ramdas, his real name was Richard Alpert. He passed away a couple of years ago, and he wrote a book that was a gigantic worldwide hit called "Be Here Now."
Listen, I'd like to write an essay, Bezrat Hashem, about Marx and Spinoza and this person, because what they were tapping into was the materiality. They were like very much in the material, right? It was Spinoza was a pantheist. He believed that the world was God, the world itself, the created world was God itself. Marx flipped Hegel, if you know about Hegel and the dialectic, on its head, and instead of us being kind of responding to a spiritual motivation, we materially, do something, and that creates like an Isarusa de la Tata. Forget the Isarusa de la Ela. We're the Isarusa de la Tata, and it's
They're all Jews.
Jews,
right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
all Jews. Spinoza, Jew.
Yeah.
Marx, Jew.
There's a great essay called The
Richard-
Non-Jewish Jew.
Oh,
The
I like it.
Non-Jewish Jew.
Yeah.
And written by a guy, I can't remember his name. He wrote the biography of Trotsky. I can't remember his name.
He wasn't Jewish.
He was Jewish, yeah.
You said non-Jewish.
The,
Oh,
he-
non-Jewish.
the essay, which is the title essay of the book. I never read the other essays. He has one about how the 6 Day War was a terrible disaster. Like he was writing in like '68, anyway, so the non-Jewish Jew. Basically, the Jews were already on the periphery of society, and so when they left Judaism, they became completely universal and just went totally universal. But my point is different. My point is this: there's a materialism. There's a materialism. They're looking at the material and they're cutting it off from the spiritual. But that they're material, that's something that we need. That you need both parts. You need both.
I haven't read enough of these guys. I've read quite a bit, but I can tell you for sure Alpert was. They were all high on acid all the time. They were all high on psychedelics for
Okay.
so many years.
All right. But be here
Well,
now is not because, listen, Buddhism,
If you've
you
ever
know,
experimented, which I, just had little tiny bits when I was a kid.
did your mother know? Oh, yeah.
But I'm just telling you that these guys, it's like this is a very, even the Rebbe, my hero, he really is. I have to send you my video. Somebody finally found my video with the Rebbe from 1991. Anyway,
Ooh.
even the Rebbe was so aware.
This was 1991.
He was so aware that all these goons that were coming into Lubavitch in 66, 67, 68, 69 were there because they had been experimenting with psychedelics. And,
They saw the oneness.
they did.
They experienced the unity.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the Rebbe said, look, I'm not going to condone what you did. However, I'm glad it got you here.
Well, what got them here? I mean, he talks about how how Am Yisrael, yes, the Torah the world was created for Jews and the Torah, for Yisrael b'shvil Torah, but that the Jews are on even it's hard to say a higher level than Torah, but there's an element of us that's kind of like not independent of Torah, but like even a Yid who's a Tinach Shenishba has no connection in a revealed way to Torah, they are still a Bikurim. They're still Bikurim. They still got a neshama. They still got a piece of God in them. That's not gonna, whether they're doing Torah or not. And even we say Bikurim, what's the whole script that we say in Bikurim? We talk about Aramio Vedovi and Yaakov Avinu and went down to Mitzrayim and Bidada. That's all before Matan Torah. That's all before we got the Torah. So us who we are is not connected to how much Torah we're doing. Okay? We want to do as much Torah, but we want to do it in a way of presence, of even a preparatory. I was trying to think of this. I was thinking, I'm giving this shir today, and during davening, I was thinking about, like this idea, and like I was like buttoning my cuff to get ready to daven Shemona Esrei. I was buttoning my cuff, and I was thinking to myself, I could just button it and like, I gotta get it buttoned, so I can go into Shemona Esrei, or, wow, I can just button the button, and that itself is wow. That itself is so holy. To prepare, to do that, to that.
Does your mother know you speak like this? That's
So-
a little bit worrying for her, not for me. Oh, look at these two guys. What, are you guys at bookends?
We're partners in crime.
Partners?
Okay, that's my cue. Okay, so
No, it's beautiful what you're saying. I love it. I'm just telling you, your mother would really be worried.
she's worried enough. All right, God bless everybody.
She gave up on me.